behalf of ITP Media India, I welcome you all to Architects and Interiors India's Design Debate Show. I'm Shiraz Khan and I will be your host for the evening. I'd like to thank each one of you for joining us today in a gathering that is meant to acknowledge the architecture and design industry, where the experts will share their unique perspectives on the theme of the season, sustainability versus profitability, finding the balance. Architects and Interiors India's flagship property design debate is a multi-city event, and it offers a platform for knowledge sharing where design and architecture experts share their views via panel discussion, and one of the renowned brands of the design industry gets an opportunity to present its collection and numerous offerings. Like I said, it's a multi-city event where every month we head to a new city, and we are proud to have conducted over 43 editions so far. And it gives me immense pleasure to host our 44th edition in the World City, founded by Ahmed Shah I, built along the banks of Sabarmati River and home to majestic Bhadra Fort, Ahmedabad. We are looking forward to an exciting panel discussion as the fourth season of Design Debate seeks to dissect this duality that architects and designers grapple with, balancing sustainable practices with cost effectiveness and profitability. So welcome to this evening, replete with knowledge sharing, and let us have a huge round of applause for Architects and Interiors India's Design Debate, the Ahmedabad Edition. To begin with, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Indrajit Saoji, Group Publishing Director, ITP Media India, the person who has ideated this platform, to kindly deliver the opening address. Sir, please join us on stage. Please can we welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Namaste Ahmedabad. Came show. Feels amazing to be back in this city. Culturally rich, design forward city. For the third year in a row. And today, it's just not another event, it's our 44th edition of Design Debate. Yes, 44 bold conversations with India's most innovative designers, architects, and thinkers. When we thought about this design debate, Ahmedabad was the very first city we started this debate with the blessings of late Shri B.V. Doshi. The very first edition was kicked off from this very city, and we traveled 44 odd cities throughout the country, and we are back here again. And what better city than Ahmedabad? A living museum of architecture where tradition, modernism, and timeless craft coexist. A city of poles and plazas, of bazaars and high-rises, from ancient stepwells to enduring legacy of Sept University building. Design breathes through the streets and skylines of the city. This is the land of Louis Kahn, Corbusier, Doshi, where heritage and modernity don't clash, they collaborate. This spirit makes Ahmedabad the perfect stage for today's provocative theme, sustainability versus profitability, finding the balance. But before we begin, a big thank you to all of you. You have taken time out on a working day. It was pouring since morning, and there are multiple challenges today, you all know. But you are here just not to attend, but to engage, to question, and to challenge the norms. You are not just design professionals, but you are the change makers. A huge round of applause for each one of you. We all have heard sustainability sounds noble, but it's expensive. Let's flip that. Can we really afford not to be sustainable? Can we? There is no planet B. There is no reset button. This is it. Sustainability is no longer optional. It's the cornerstone of responsible design. It's about longevity, legacy, and yes, profitability when it's done right. Think about it. Once asbestos was seen as innovative product. Today it's banned. When we design for profit alone, it has many consequences, sociological, ecological, and ethical as well. So the real question is, how do we make sustainability scalable, viable, second nature? After many coffee-fueled brainstorming, we landed on this theme. And what a theme it is, sustainability versus profitability. Let's begin by welcoming our guest of honor for today, a pioneer in smart building systems. He has redefined sustainability infrastructure in India, a fellow of ISHRE, ASHRE, and a driving voice at IGBC. He's a mentor, a leader, an ecosystem builder, a very good friend, and I know he's a very good singer. Hopefully we get to hear something from him today. Please join me in welcoming our visionary, Mr. Pankaj Dharkar ji. Thank you. Sir, I'll take some more time. You please be seated. I'll call you. This was just to applaud you for taking time out and being here today. Now, let me tell you what's coming up. Panel 1, the next gen panel. Young architects proving that design, business and sustainability can and must exist or coexist. Moderated by Dr. Meghal Arya and the very young and dynamic team of next gen designers. Let's hear it out for the bold and new generation of design leaders, the next gen panels. Second, we have the stalwarts who have shaped this industry and continue to raise the bar, the doyens of the industry. Moderated by Neeraj ji, our Sutradhar and a very good friend. And the entire doyens panel consisting of Arpan ji, Brijesh, Hiren bhai, Sameer Sinha ji, who will be joining us shortly, and Dr. Vatsal. A huge round of applause for our doyens. Let's welcome these legends who led the wisdom and purpose of design. A big thank you to our visionary partners. Bune Dam, thank you Ashish for partnering with us and believing in us. Bune Dam is displaying today smart, secure access systems. They have put a proof of concept behind. Please find out some time to visit and engage with them. Fundamax, Austrian innovation meets Indian imagination. They also have a proof of concept behind. MRF Vapacure paints, durable, sustainable, beautiful finishes. Anup is here to head them. You can engage with him, and they also have a very beautiful display, and I guess you have some samples also. So please do visit them. Thank you for helping us build a more thoughtful design debate and a design ecosystem. Thank you all our sponsors. Before we dive into today's dialogue, let's take a moment to explore the world behind this platform. Here comes a short AV from ITP Media Group, our mothership. From global storytelling to platforms like Design Debate, we are in the business of ideas, inspirations, and impact. Now, handing over a mic to our fantastic host tonight, Shiraz. She'll steer us through some fierce, fun, and future-shaping conversations. So lean in, listen hard, speak your truth, because today isn't just about finding answers. It's about building a world where sustainability and profitability aren't choices, they are standards. Thank you, Ahmedabad. Let the debate begin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and a warm welcome. Following the concept of design debate, it takes immense pleasure to offer a platform to the finest vendors in the design and architecture segment to present their product line and offerings. And having said that, I'd like to begin with our first partnering brand that are leading manufacturers of revolving doors and security barriers. May we please have the AV?
Bienvenue. We go beyond what is expected. That is our passion. For more than 140 years, we've ensured people feel welcome and secure. We are Boon Edam, your entry experts.
I'd now like to invite Mr. Ashish Kumar, Director Sales and Services from Bunidam, to kindly come on stage and present further about their range of touchless entry solutions.
Thank you, Siraj. And thank you, ITP Media, for providing us opportunity to present our solution and product in front of such a fantastic audience. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before starting my presentation, I want to congratulate our Indian Armed Forces. Today morning, they have given a opportunity to be feel pride or joy, and they have replied very strongly a terrorist nation. From last 20 years, Gujarat become a synonym of development. It's one of the leading growth engine of the country. And you can see like people in here, Gujarat, society developing, taking this state on a next level with even different type of challenges, but still this state is growing in a very different pace. And the reason sitting in this hall, so my respect to all of you. So here, Bunedam also playing a small part for the growth and for the development of a country as well as state. I'm here to present a story of Bunedam. Yeah. So Bunedam started, it's a Netherlands-based company, started in 1873, a small town called Amsterdam, now shifted to a city called Idem. That's why it's called Bunedam. Mr. Boone started this company. My bad. In country also, we are present from last 25 years. In terms of present, we are having factory in 3 different continents, having a subsidiary in 20 countries, present more than 55 countries, so it's a truly global company. Our business divided in 3 different verticals: door, security, and services. The product which Bunedam supplies, it's work for next 10 to 25 years. That's why service is very important part. And that's why we say we provide service and product part of the service. Let's talk about product. First product is revolving door. Why revolving door? It says like always open, always close. Always open for the people. It's coming from one side to other side. And close for the environment. There's no transfer of exterior environment to inside or inside to outside. It's having sustainable, because we are talking about more sustainable solutions. This product's made of sustainable material, and it's going to be with building for next 25 to 30 years. It's a sustainable entrance. Then, because it's not transferring any environment from outside to inside, so the inside environment is quieter, healthier. And because there's no transfer of environment from inside to outside, so it reduces the thermal transfer. And it create more usable space. With a 3-meter dia door, you can achieve same performance which you are achieving with a 6-meter long vestibule. And it is having a less thermal reduction, so your building is more greener. It's promoting to green building. And of course, it doesn't break any elevation. I'm sharing a small video which help you to understand how revolving door helped you to reduce your electricity bill out having a for building. There's a small test which is very interesting to see over here. How a openable door, a sliding door, transferring all the smoke, all the weather from outside to inside, because there is no barrier inside. So next product is barrier, security barrier. Why you need a barrier? Of course, for the crowd control. You have to channelize the entire crowd which is gathering in a lobby to a certain location, certain departments. So it's a crowd control. It's for deterrent. It's for detection, who's needed, who's not needed. So detection is more important, and after detection, prevention or allowing. You can allow people for certain locations, you cannot allow some people, so that's why the barrier help you. We have a proof of concept, backside. We and my team can explain in detail how this barrier works. And why you need security barriers? So the lobby are designed to gather people from outside to inside, and after gathering in the lobby, you have to assign people for certain locations. These barriers help you to identify who's needed, who's not needed, and how to channelize people for the respective places. And with a layered approach with the upgraded security systems, you can prevent unauthorized entry, like preventing like tailgating and piggybacking. What is that? I'll explain in the next slides how it's work. And the entire security divided in 3 different level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level in is just deterrent, where you are like making people to stand in queue. Level 2 is like detection, but there's no prevention. If people detect, okay, who's needed or not needed. Level 3 is very important, where we make sure nobody is crossing from one side to other side if it's not he or she is not authorized. And there are 2 products which work for level 3 securities: security revolving door and circle lock. This is very common for many commercial offices as well as the data centers. This mandate for level 3 and level 4 data centers. And how the piggybacking and tailgating work. There's a small, just 30-second video. Like some authorized person entering in a security revolving door, or somebody wants to cross, say, in the second compartment, it will not allow. Authorized person will cross, but unauthorized person has to go back. This is called tailgating, and this door help in that. Then what is a piggybacking? 2 authorized person entering the same compartment, authorized or non-authorized. This is called piggybacking. It will not allow, even though there's an authentication given. This is called piggyback. So these doors are needed for commercial uses as well as for data center purposes. So now coming back to the client base, we are having a client from up north to south, eastern part, Assam or even Arunachal Pradesh, and the far west like Jamnagar. We have a good installation. And our client base included Fortune 500 customers across all segments. I'm not sharing all the installations, but there are 4 different installations which is having some innovations. So up north, we have installed 5.5 meter height door. In terms of height, we can go up to 6 meter. Down south, in IKEA Hyderabad showroom, it's a 7.4 meter dia door. So maximum diameter, we can have 7.4 meter because customer have to carry furniture and everything. Up east, in Calcutta, we have integrated barrier with the lift access control system. So like we are tapping the card, it helping you to which elevator to take A, B, C. So destination control is integrated with a barrier. And the western part, we have all glass look revolving door. So it's everything is hidden inside of the floor. You'll have just glass look door and fully automated with all security features. So this is 4 different type of innovative installation which we have done in the country. There are many more, I'm just sharing 4. And we have experience center in Delhi, and very soon we are opening in, we have experience center in Mumbai, and very soon we are opening in Delhi. And I take this opportunity to invite all of you, whenever you are visiting Delhi or Mumbai, please do visit and have a touch and feel experience about all the product. And thanks for patient listening. If any question, I'm happy to take.
Thank you so much for an intriguing presentation. And as we further dwell in the evening, we are delighted to introduce to you all our guest of honor for this edition. With a rich experience of 44 years, he has successfully designed and completed more than 4,700 projects of various applications, and also provides innovative and sustainable solutions in the field of building engineering services. Currently the National Chair for Green Building Certification Program at the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, he has been a fellow member of the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, and is also a member of several other technical societies like FSAI, USGBC, IPA, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, I'd like to invite on stage our guest of honor for this edition, Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, Director, Pankaj Dharkar and Associates. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Good evening. So first of all, let me thank ITP for inviting guest of honor in a evening event where most of you are architects, interior designers, and developers. When Indrajit and Mrs. Khan called me up and then invited me as guest of honor, I was a bit shocked because normally we work with architects as our leaders, and I asked him specifically as to why you are calling me as guest of honor. But thank you, sir. It is a great honor. It has been a long journey for me with ITP, with Viborji, with Jayashriji, and you, Indrajit, for various events across the nation. And it had been always pride to be associated with you, with your awards and several initiatives which have really done wonders for the societies and also the communities to bring them together. And today is one of such event, and I'm delighted that I am standing with you for the first time in my hometown of Ahmedabad. All the time it was always different cities, different places, most of the time in Mumbai, of course. So thank you so much, sir. And well, this is a very interesting topic. That was one of the reasons why I thought that I should not be missing the opportunity to hear to the young architects, designers, and also veteran architects from Ahmedabad. And well, I thought I will be putting some provocative statements here and maybe create a opportunity for all of us to debate many points which comes to my mind, of course. And for too long, sustainability professionals have heard the dreaded words like he also said some time back, the customer does not want sustainability because it costs more. Investors and developers were often concerned about implementing sustainable solutions in construction projects. And yes, sustainability benefits the environment, but can it be profitable? Over the past few years, we are seeing a change in philosophy. Business houses are increasingly considering sustainable approach, talking about the added value and benefits that were not traditionally factored into cash flow forecasts. Profitability, the measure of success in business, and therefore, whereas sustainability means conducting a business in such a way that it is beneficial to the people and environment, and both besides financial gains. So the challenges of balancing profitability and sustainability has become a central concern for modern businesses. While sustainability is one of the key components necessary for ensuring long-term economic growth across the world. In recent years, a growing number of companies have embraced sustainable business practices, recognizing the potential competitive edge it can offer. Friends, it is a myth that sustainable solutions increase building expenses substantially and can only yield savings later. In fact, using sustainable solution can decrease construction cost and accelerate project completion. According to recent reports, green building can cut down consumption of energy by 25 to 40% and water usage by 10 to 40%. And such buildings reduce the need for lighting and air conditioning, and so lower carbon emission, which is extremely important when we are moving towards creating a carbon neutral country by 2070. So green buildings have been costing 2% to 10% more to build than conventional buildings. But if you are able to visualize it at conceptual stage, it is also going to bring down the MEP cost substantially, and then it is going to balance you. So sustainability and profitability go hand in hand, and they are not opposite poles, but are two sides of same coin. In actual fact, the sustainability and profitability are closely linked. Along with the reduced carbon emission, there are significant financial benefits in sustainable construction. We understand that it can reduce transportation and storage cost, lesser equipment usage, improved productivity, lesser material usage, lesser energy and water use, reduced wastage, and higher property values. So friends, challenge faced in balancing profitability and sustainability is quite crucial. One of the primary challenges to perception that sustainability initiatives can costly and may not yield immediate financial returns. Many a times when a builder develops a building and he is not going to be the end user, this mindset can also change. There is a need to consider not only its first cost, which is design and construction expenses, but also long-term running costs such as utilities operations, maintenance. To me, a life cycle cost analysis for any project is extremely important. So another challenge is lack of consumer demand for sustainable products and services, though the awareness is growing. It is a highly competitive market. Business are often forced to prioritize cost and price over the sustainability. And when we are in Ahmedabad, which is very price sensitive market, I think all of us sitting here who are designers are facing this every day. So business encounters systematic challenges in their efforts to adopt and implement profitability and sustainability strategies. And these challenges are especially prolonged amongst the micro and small businesses. Friends, strategies for integrating sustainability into business operation will mean setting clearly defined sustainable goals. Leadership commitment is extremely vital to achieve these goals. Engaging and training the employees at all levels is critical. Incorporating design thinking principles to creatively solve problems is extremely important, where a lot of architects here will play important role. Encouraging collaborations with associations and employing technologies such as data analysis, softwares, and its integration becomes extremely important. Friends, going green is no longer a sole concern of environmentalists. Rather, it has become a crucial aspect of business strategies for many global organizations. The strong growth in green building market can be attributed to increasing awareness of climate change. We are all witnessing this beautiful day with a lot of monsoon in a very hot summer of Ahmedabad, and this is all effects of climate change. These are all trailers. The picture to abhi baki hai, sir. This climate change is going to really play havoc as we move forward. And the environmental sustainability, rising adoption of green building practices, promotion of eco-friendly construction, rising energy cost, these are all the concerns which are real now. Focus on energy conservation, encourage energy efficient building designs, long-term operation cost, reduction of automation for efficient building management are going to be the key aspects. There are many examples in the world, and I'm just referring to this small example, a year-long study taken by RSP architecture planners and engineers on building systems on a diagnostic, this particular project, the building was analyzed from a life cycle cost perspective and compared, and you could see here the green building reaped greater energy and water savings throughout its life cycle, and these savings outweigh the yearly investment of the cost. In fact, the greener the building, the higher cost saving is what it is clearly predicting. There is another area where we should focus now is lean construction approach to the construction process that reduces waste of the resources, time, work, and also increase the project value. The sustainability represents the long-term approach towards the building and the use of resources, especially the natural ones. And profitability is a design and management approach that focuses on reducing the cost and maximizing value for builders and users. So friends, the Institute of Lean Construction Excellence plays a key role in promoting the lean practices in India, collaborating with academic institutes like IIT Madras. However, there are challenges in implementation of including awareness and cultural shifts. So lean collaboration approaches aim to streamline processes, eliminate waste, and optimize resources utilization, leading to faster and project completion and reduce cost. Lean construction and design in India are about adopting a systematic approach to reduce waste and enhance the overall efficiency of construction processes. So friends, the convergence of lean and green is more than a trend. It is a necessity, with construction industry accounting for nearly 40% of the global carbon emission, and the urgency to decarbonize is clear. In fact, our country has taken a very ambitious goal of reducing energy levels by 50% by 2030. So next 5 years are extremely, extremely important if we have to achieve carbon neutrality by 2070. So when effectively aligned, the lean and green practices drive the project performance, reduce environmental impact, and create long-term value to the stakeholders. Friends, I've been very passionate about sustainability, though focusing my work on MEPF. So to inspire my young generation, I've recently started this initiative to award young professionals who are less than 40 years of age. In fact, the first award was initiated just 3 months back. I got more than 1 lakh likes on this. We got international participation. Because I started my career from air conditioning, I thought of doing 3 categories, but you will believe me that with the kind of participation I got, we created 7 categories in terms of decarbonization, in terms of sustainability, in terms of air conditioning, refrigeration, cold chain, and ventilation. And I was really fascinated. This was fantastic work done by ISRE ASHRE together. And this award, I created a value for it. I created a huge quotient for it, and it is paying a rich dividend by inspiring and these all youngsters are less than 40 years of age, including global Indians who are practicing. With creating the knowledge of decarbonization, a conference is being held in Indore now, which has 16 tracks, all related to decarbonization and the topic which we are covering. We are expecting more than 2,000 people here. I would urge, and there is also a decarbonization award, which we are coining with ISRE ASHRE, and all the 50 societies are coming together to do this in Excellence in Decarbonization Awards. So friends, to me, the quote given by our late president, to succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. So thank you very much again, ITP, and I just thought that I will provocate young architects and also senior architects to debate on such an important subject. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was great to hear insights and your thoughts over the topic of sustainability and profitability. And we'd like to invite on stage Mr. Ashish Kumar, the director from Buni Dam, and along with him Mr. Indrajit Saoji, to kindly come and felicitate our dear guest of honor. Can we have another round of applause for him, please? Moving on, Architects and Interiors India's design debate aims at presenting the most trusted and renowned brands in the field of architecture and interior design. And we are delighted to partner with one of the leaders in the coatings industry, consistently delivering superior quality wood coatings and paints for interior and exterior walls. I'd now like to invite Mr. Anoop Rayar, MRF Corporate Limited, to kindly come on stage and present further about their wide range of multi-purpose coatings.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks a lot for this opportunity to showcase the MRF range of products that we have. So, as you've seen in the EV, our tagline is "Paint that good life." Now, MRF as a brand, I don't think would need an introduction. My first image of MRF as a brand is thanks to the great Sachin Tendulkar, who with his straight drive helped get this brand forward. So while tires is something that we are known for, we also operate in a lot of other spaces. One is of course the tire, then the tire retrading division. Then we also have an MRF Pace Foundation that has given India and the world some of the best fast bowlers. We have MRF Sports Good division, where I might be from the paint division, but this is where I get the maximum inquiries from, where people say, can I get a bat signed by Virat Kohli or Shubman Gill? So Fun School is also a brand that is owned by MRF. And of course, the brand that I'm going to inform you more about, that is MRF Epocure paints. So we have the complete range of decorative products. We are in the business of adding aesthetics and harmony to homes for over 3 decades. We are an ISO 9001-2015 certified company. We also have the IGBC Green Post certified product ranges. 3 fully equipped manufacturing facilities at Chennai. So Aura manufacturing happens in Chennai. Fully fledged R&D center for innovations and continuous product improvements. We have a pan-India strong distribution network. So our distribution network is spread out across the country. Wherever your say a site is, or wherever your product requires application, we have a person there, or we have a team there who can help get our products there. We have a business development team to support architects, interior designers, engineers, and builders. So we firmly believe that good living starts with good looking spaces. So these are the 4 segments that we operate in. The wall finish, predominantly for the walls. Wood, as the name suggests, for wood, metal for metal surfaces. And then we also have a range of performance products, so products like floor coating solutions. When it comes to wall finishes, this is our flagship product, which is Ruka, which is interior emulsion, has a smooth and satin finish, is antibacterial thanks to the silver ion technology. We have exclusive shades in this product range. Then other product is Aquafresh exterior, where this is a super premium water-based PU paint. So it's a water-based PU paints for wall. Since PU, as you all know, will have a superior weather resistance, will have superior scratch resistance, this product is most durable than the other offerings in the market. The product is Green Pro certified. Again, there is an interior range of Aquafresh, which is Green Pro certified. Superior scratch shield resistance, there is a superior finish. We have around 1100 plus shades exclusively for the interior range also. Now, and subsides, you would like, since we also have a cricketing background or pretty close to it, we couldn't help but have some all-rounder product. So we have an all-rounder product, closer home, since we are in Gujarat, a Hardik Pandya of our product, which can be an interior product and an exterior product also. So we have a product called Altura 2-in-1, which can be used for interior application as well as exterior application for wall, and Green Pro certified. Again, the product offers superior finish, longer lasting, and also comes with a 6-year warranty. So the earlier range of products of Aquafresh came with an 8-year warranty. This product comes with a 6-year warranty. Again, we have 1100, close to, now the range shades have also improved. So 1200 plus shades that we have available. The product is available in matte finish as well as sheen finish. So as per the market requirement. Coming to the economy range of products, we have Visa for interior emulsion, which is for the interior range with a 4-year performance warranty. We have for the exterior range Campus exterior emulsion, which is again a 4 years warranty. Again, both products are available in matte and sheen finishes. Coming to a few specialty products, one product that we have is Aquafresh Dam Guard. This product comes with a 10-year performance warranty and also gives an added benefit of reduced temperature. So it can, when applied on terrace surfaces, around 10 degrees of, it can reduce the temperature of the room by around 10 degrees. So while this is, if in a tenement, for example, on a terrace, if this product is applied, it can bring down the temperature up to 10 degrees and also helps in reducing the AC bill also, because since the room temperature overall goes down by that. In addition to the same, it also offers a waterproofing. So a stopgap waterproofing benefit where it can address your dampness issues and also seepage issues. So this product acts as a primer, and then you can tag it with any product of your choice for a top coat in case you need a top coat finish for it. Can be applied on both horizontal as well as vertical surfaces. In terms of primers, which is the base coat, we have 3 Green Pro certified primers, which is Cello, Altura and Aquafresh. We also have a solvent thinner wall primer. Coming to wood finishes, we have the Aquacoat PU 1K. This is a water-based PU for wood, in sync with the market requirements, where there is a lot of demand for water-based PU, in sync with the theme of today's year, which is sustainability. We have a product, this will not require any hardener. It is a low VOC, do-it-yourself product. It's environment friendly and moisture resistant. We also have a Aquacoat 2K PU, which is a hardener based PU. Again, pure water based PU, offering better resistance. and it is a Green Pro certified PU also. Now coming to wood coat. Wood coat is our solvent based PU. It's a premium pack PU for exteriors. So we have for exterior also, and we have wood coat for interior also. Since the market has also demanded for Italian PU, which is a slightly faster drying PU, we have a product called Italia, wood coat Italia, which is available in high gloss, clear and matte clear format, and also matte white. There is also shades that can be tinted through this. So we have a shade offering also in this product. In the economy series of wood finishes, we have fresh wood, treat wood, easy wood 2-in-1, and we also have melamine. For a particular project, we have products across different price points. So based on the need, you can choose which product to be used. For metal, we have metal coat. Metal coat is again for metal our flagship products. Closer home on the Sabarmati river front, there is a shade of ours called metal coat charcoal, which has been used, and it is withstanding now for more than 5 years plus. So the performance of this product is undoubted. We have 54 exclusive shades, and we have also tintable shades in this product. There is MC Plus, so this is basically the tintable base for our metal coat. We have an economy PU which is Durothin, again for use across wood and metal. And then we have acrylic superfine, we have Specta and Epidex. So acrylic superfine as a product that is used across a lot of temples. Sarangpur Hanuman temple, or even in Poicha Swaminarayan temple, the product is applied over the idols. Specta PU enamel and Epidec. In the performance products, we have Altura Metallic. So this is water-based metallic product. So for acrylic superfine, the water-based variant. We have glass coat for glass finishes. We have Zameen for basically paver blocks and all your parking Also Aquafresh Cool, which is specially designed to reduce temperature further up to 12 degrees. Now few of our iconic projects one is the Amma Memorial Chennai, where new wall coat PU was used. In Calicut, Altura Metallic. At the suspension bridge in Kerala, metal coat PU. And the Pramukh Swami Maharaj Ahmedabad, where at the centenary celebrations, the idol was entirely painted using our acrylic superfine solvent gold paint. The Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, where Altura 2-in-1 was used. Taj Exotica Goa, Hilton Resort, and Bloom Hotels. These are residential projects in Vijayawada, and using Aquafresh PU interior and a combination of metal coat apartment in Chennai. Now, how do we support you? So, we have actually right now a stall, so I would, if time permits, please do visit and just have a look at, we have a few panels there. Now, those panels are just few panels out of our entire library. So, in case some particular products interest you, then our team would be more than happy to come and have a personal visit, and in case you need some customized panels, we can develop those for you and provide also. We have a business development team. We offer free product sampling. So at a site, if you would want to see how our product looks, say, or on the wall or on the metal, so we can get that done at the site also. We can offer project paint previews. We have around 40 plus sales depots. So across the country, we have presence, a very strong channel network. So while depots are something that we stock our products, we have a very big dealer network across the country. We have technical trainers with us. There is site supervision service also offered by us. And also we can develop customized shades based on certain quantity. Our paint sampling service is also available. While this is a number for the paint sampling here, at any point of time, should you require further assistance, our team is there. So my request would be just for a sampling purpose, say if any product interests you, just be in touch with us so that we can offer you the service and also explain the products further at your place. So thank you. That's it from my end. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. And as we continue to introduce our valuable partners, we'd like to introduce the masters in manufacturing and supplying high-pressure laminates, facades, and wall cladding products that can be used as premium quality panels trusted by architects and designers across the globe. I now request Mr. Krishan Kumar Tanwar from the team of Fundamax to kindly come on stage and present further about their highly durable range of interior and exterior products.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ITP team, for a wonderful platform. So, starting from my presentation. So, as you can see our logo for you to create, whatever you can design, imagine, whatever you can design, we can create for you. So, Fundamax is an Austrian company. So, we have a long tradition value, and we value the nature as our raw material is from the mother nature. As you all know, HPL is made of two kind of paper. One is craft paper and is the decor paper. So both we get from the mother nature. Yeah, we love design. Whatever your unique design and individuality we prefer. So we are happy to work with the new innovative projects and the products. We complete what nature gives us. We are taking the raw material from the PFC and the FSC certified vendors only, which are growing 10 trees when they are cutting one tree. So yeah, we are completing the nature, what Mother Earth is giving us, we are returning back to them. So we are talking about the Fundamax. So Fundamax is a part of Constantia Group. La Constantia is a well-known brand in the Europe market. So apart from the Fundamax, it have three other companies like Isovolta, which is into the high quality electrical insulation material. Isosport, that is high quality plastic, and Constantia Group is giving them IT service to three of the companies. So we are talking about the Fundamax India. The Fundamax, why we have mentioned the original, because there are so many players in the market which are selling their product on the name of Fundamax. So we are precision and passion for the natural resources for over the 130 years. As company has started in 1890, and from 130 years we are still in the business, and we are making the high class, high pressure laminates. We are #1 brand for architect, planners and designers like you. As I told that we have started in 130 years back. In India, we have started in 2007. So from last 17 to 18 years, we have accomplished more than 20,000 projects all over the India, and that is into the hospitality, hospitals, corporates, residential, healthcare and government. And its total area which we have done is around 2 million square meter. And as for the stock, we are keeping a stock of 60,000 square meter in our Bangalore warehouse. And our panels are very easy to maintain, impact resistant and long lasting. We provide integrated solution. We are not just selling the sheet, we are giving you end-to-end solution. We are providing you we are helping in the design, we are providing the solution with the back-end things like aluminum, rivets and installation. As far as the network, we have more than 55 channel partners across India, and we have a greater service network in that. And in Ahmedabad also we have 2 channel partners. So how Fundamax chain value works? Like we met architects and a designer like you. We take the intent drawings and the BOQs. Then our application engineering team is working on that, and they are providing their inputs over that. Then we submit the quotation and the solution to a client, and after that the material is ordered to Fundamax India. If material is available in warehouse, then we deliver in 10 to 15 days. And if it is not available, then we place order to Austria, which is coming in 12 to 13 weeks. And after that, it comes to our warehouse and to the site, and then our trained channel partners are installing the job. So in Fundamax business segment, Amlook is one of our important product which we offer to the market. M2 is placed in the A2 category as it is a non-combustible material, and it can be used in facade, balconies and railings. Then this is our most common product which we are offering in India from last 17 years, Max Exterior. So it is also used in the facade, balconies and railings and soffit areas. So this is one of the most important thing while designing any building or considering a design, fire properties. So our both product are fire resistant, as Max Exterior is placed in the B class, S2 and D0. What S means here is a smoke level that is placed in between 0 to 5, it's a number 2, that there is a smoke but is not so dense that you cannot find out the source of fire. So we can easily find out the source of fire and it can be extinguished. And the D0 signifies the droplet 0. So you have seen in past years that in many in past years that if a fire has broke down, so the facade is dropping like a droplet, means it's melted and it's dropping like a droplets, and it is causing a burning effect and accident. So many of the incident happen there, but in our product, it will directly convert to the ash if it caught the fire. Otherwise, it will not propagate fire from one panel to other. And in India, we are offering a size of 1.3 meter into 2.8 meter, and we have other 4 sizes also to optimize the wastage. So although Max Exterior has many property, but we have chosen these 8 because we are considering it for the exterior facade. Like it's a scratch resistance, easy to clean. It's a zero maintenance product. It's a solvent resistance. Solvent resistance means our panels are tested for the acids, certain acid like HCl and H2SO4, because in some part of India, there is acid rain is happening. So for that, also you can use this panel in the exterior. Then easy to install, extremely weather resistant. Our product are tested for -82 plus 80 degrees Celsius. And optimal light fashioning, it is a UV protection and impact resistant and double hardened. Our product are hardened from the both sides. The same surface treatment is given from the both sides. So these are some design and application possibilities, like for facade, soffit, curved facade. If your facade have a radius more than 3 meters, so you can use over there. Ceilings, louvers, sun blinds, and column claddings. Canopy, gate, and signage. So these are exterior application. So as you can see, this building is of a well-known group, Sattva Group in Bangalore. So this is a mixed use of matte and glossy finish, and also glass. So it is in this, this building we have done in 2019, and in this we have studied one behavior that there is a difference of 5 to 7 degree temperature from the outer wall to the inner wall as the facade, as the Fundermax panel are working as a rear ventilation facade. And also there is a noise reduction of 2 dB. So we have a certificate for that also. Now then the perforation, if you have some kind of perforation or jali work, so you can use this material instead of the traditional. It is a 100% waterproof, and you can do any kind of design over it. Then sun shading system, like you have, if you want to use as louver fins, you can also have a movable and the fixed louvers. So this is one of the innovative facade which has designed by the Fundermax. It's a lap siding. It is a rivet-less system, and it don't have a gap. So and it is working like a slider. If you are using this in hilly areas or areas where have a high rainfall or a snowfall, so there are 0 chances of water lodging and snow lodging. So in this you can see the balcony. This is the same example of the perforation. Here the panels are used on the slider. So means on the slider, and this can be moved and adjusted according to the sun movement, and also for the ventilation purpose. Then fences, gates, soffit and canopies. So we have a one product on which you can print your design. You can print your pictures also. This is a curved application, pergolas, and again fins and louvers of the different colors. This is one of the unique product which Fundermax offer to Indian market and to the world. It is a individual decor. Here you can print your any kind of design, even your pictures on the facade, and it also have a same warranty of 10 years. So some of the projects which we have done in Ahmedabad University. So you can see the area here in Ahmedabad University is around 2,000 square meter, and the louvers which are used are movable. They can be closed according to the need. If they want the fresh air and light, then it will close, and otherwise they are they are open, otherwise they are closed. This project name Kunal Bhai Bungalow, and this is one of the important project are ISRO. Then this is our ongoing project Cloud9. First phase we have done, second phase is going on. Then Ashish Bhai Bungalow, this is of architect Hiren Patel sir. This is private. Apart from the Gujarat, we have done many projects in Pan India. So this is one of the Mysore, and this is of the Panipat. We have a stall behind you. If you have any questions, so we are open for the one-on-one discussion.
Thank you so much. And we now move on to the most awaited segment of the evening, our panel discussions. We'd like to begin with the next-gen panel discussion with the new age architects that will redefine and build the architecture of tomorrow. Before we begin the session, I'd like to welcome and introduce all the speakers of this session. Beginning with our first panelist, she's an architect, landscape designer, and a researcher. Her studio undertakes architectural, master planning, and landscape design projects of different scales and typologies spread across different geographies and continues to strive for meaningful and playful conversations between design and ecological narratives. Please welcome on stage architect Arohi Bakeri, architect and landscape designer Arohi Bakeri, architecture and landscape design. May we please have a round of applause for her? Focused on design, innovation, and spatial correlations that respond to evolving urban needs. An alumnus of ETH Zurich, he holds a master's in advanced urbanism, where his research for development of urban territories through inclusivity has been published in the book Migrant Masil. His interest in the modern history of architecture in India led him to find an initiative, Ahmedabad Commons, which activates significant buildings as public spaces. Our next speaker is architect Chaitanya Patel, principal architect in practice. Moving on to our next speaker, she's trained potter from Golden Bridge Pottery, and she brings a fresh yet rooted approach to her work. She engages with projects across different scales and places, shaped by research, inquiry, and a deep respect for context. With an interest in architecture, ceramics, and textiles, her practice aims to nurture a multidisciplinary approach that remains responsive, curious, and grounded in its surroundings. Please welcome our next speaker, architect Naomi Parekh, founder and architect from Doro. May we have a round of applause for our speakers, please? Moving on, our next speaker has a deep appreciation for design through the lenses of craft, culture, and climate. From Studio Sangat to co-founding a luxury furniture brand, her work spans interiors, furniture, research, and materials, all guided by a sharp eye for creative direction and a deep engagement with people and their relationship to resources. Please welcome our next speaker, architect Palak Patel, co-founder and creative director from Ray-Ban Studio. And last but not the least, our next speaker had the opportunity to exhibit her work at Women in Design, curated by the Hecker Foundation and Sumaya and Kalappa Consultants at the Max Muller Bhavan, Mumbai. 4 of her firm's projects were shortlisted in the merit list at Biennial Architecture Awards that recognizes projects of critical relevance. Please welcome, last but not the least, architect Vipuja Parmar, principal designer, UA Lab Urban Architectural Collaborative. May we please have a round of applause for all our speakers on the Next Gen panel, and can we have everyone on stage, please? And to commence this session, I'd like to introduce to you all our moderator for the Next Gen panel. She's a professor at the Faculty of Architecture, CEPT University, India, where her design studios build narratives to foreground immersive, experiential qualities of a space. Her doctoral research, Embedded Knowledge in Architecture, later published at Spatial Ecology of Water, has influenced a paradigm shift in the manner of studying and analyzing traditional architecture for water. She has collaborated internationally with other academics to run studios at various universities and is also the managing trustee at AADI Center, a non-profit trust dedicated to furthering knowledge in art, architecture, and design. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Sutradhar, the moderator for this session, Dr. Meghal Arya, founding partner from Arya Architects. Thank you so much. On behalf of ITP Media and Architects and Interiors India, I welcome you all to the Next Gen panel.
Thank you for those wonderful introductions. The term Sutradhar reminds me of the Arjun and Krishna situation, and I'm not quite sure if any one of us here is qualified for that. But nonetheless, thank you all. Actually, thank you for giving the younger people a chance to voice their opinions and their ideas. And I'm hoping that they are going to take the lead, and I will just get to listen. I've also had the pleasure of having some of them as my students, and it's really nice to come back over here and listen to how they've grown into the profession. I said yes to this thing because, I mean, it's not something that I know how to do very well, but I'm going to try do my best because of the subject, which was to put sustainability versus profitability. And as early on, our guest of honor said that I'm not sure whether we need to position them as one against the other. And I think that today, rather than climate change, we need to talk of it in the positioning of climate crisis, because it's a really situation which is really critical at this moment. Preparing for this session was very interesting for me because I was wondering what is it that I can say that everybody's not already said, and I came up with a 0. So, but I did find something very fascinating that the Supreme Court 4 years ago in 2021 actually created a 5% bench to see whether we can come up with a monetary value of a tree. And that bench actually put together a report which pegged the monetary value of a tree at 75,000 rupees. And of course, then they had many variations in it where the cost of the monetary value, not cost, but the monetary value of the tree changed based on the girth, etc. And if it was a 100-year-old heritage tree, then it was 1 crore rupees. The exercise was done because they wanted to there's some few hundred trees that were going to get cut for a particular project, an infrastructure project. And the judges did not accept the report at that time because the monetary value of the trees that they were going to fell was more than the cost of the project. And I think that is a telling story of this whole question and this whole debate of sustainability and profitability. With that, I'm going to start with, I promised Arohi that I'll start with her, since alphabetically she sits on the top of the table. And she also comes from a profession where I've been known to tell my friends who are landscape architects that even the gods are with you, so what do you really need to do? And, you know, you just throw a few seeds and they'll still grow. So what I want, Arohi, is to be able to tell us that given even a profession like landscape, give us one instance of a dilemma that you may have faced in this whole debate between profitability and sustainability.
I think like I end up planting so many trees, I'm like, oh my God, it's a very sustainable, noble profession. But what actually ends up happening is we work with different soil levels. So a lot of times we're importing so much soil that it's not a sustainable start. Second is how do we manage water on site? It's a straightforward, simple mechanism. Someone who's taught me a lot about this is here. And we work together and create some really interesting solutions. But water as an integral part of design is often overlooked. So you don't recharge water, you don't use materials that are permeable. And a lot of it, in my opinion, comes from this rigidity, like let's not take a chance, let's fill up what's above the road level outside. There are very easy ways to do it without the filling. So, you know, while we still plant trees, you have a lot of layers to also address. So this is a day in, day out debate which usually we end up solving, but it's a very long conversation to have with someone who's doing it for the first time. So it's a day in, day out problem.
I think most of the room relates to what you're trying to say, because the first thing that a client comes and tells us is that मैं feeling करी काढ़ियो छे and a compound wall. I mean, pardon me if there's people in the audience who don't understand Gujarati, but you know, it's a very common thing that we hear, and I think in the long term for all of us at some moment, if you can, not right now, we don't have the time, we are running late, but If you can share over a period of, maybe find a public platform where you can suggest what are the kind of alternatives that architects can use as against this whole idea of filling it up with soil. I think it'd be a wonderful exercise for all of us. And coming to this idea of this whole idea of rigidity and a certain mindset which only assumes certain aspects, I'll come to Chaitanya. Thank you, Chaitanya, for holding fort for the men in the profession on this audience. And the next panel will take care of everything else in any case, but still. The question really, as a young architect, and most of the clients you know are older than you. And most of the clients typically will be with more financial resources than you are. And they know how money is made. And they know better than you. And when that perspective comes in, how do you deal with that? Particularly when you are very preoccupied, particularly I think in your own work, the whole idea of materiality, the whole idea of local is very strong. So how do you deal with that?
Well, not exactly. It's a thing where, the client comes in and then they have of course they have they know the wealth, they know the hard-earned money. But this reminds me of my very first project where even before I started my own practice, where I had to extend my cousin's residence because the family was growing and it was a need. So we stick to this idea of never demolish, and then down the line, six years now, we still stick to the same idea that never demolish anything. Kind of when you stick to those principles, it gives you a lot more flexibility in your thinking, in your design creativity, where you can do much more without using using less materials, less wastage of materials, and maximizing capacities of the same thing that you are again going to do. So I think for me, when you have clients which have known better in terms of how they are going to spend their money. Basically, we had done a very small house in a very close neighborhood, and despite being very wealthy, they wanted to remain in that tiny space. So I think that's not same with each and every client that everybody wants a big house or everybody wants to express themselves. So sustainability can be thought in many ways. There's no very particular way. It's a vast subject. I've never understood sustainability ever. But there are very small portions that we are trying to implement in each and every project in a very different ways.
Yes, I totally, I can almost understand exactly where you're coming from, because 2 years ago, we moved into a house which was an old house, and Arya had some 10 different designs for demolishing that one and bringing up a new one. But then it was also where my parents were staying next door. So we didn't want to create a lot of dust. We didn't want to create a lot of construction noise. So there was a different perspective to this whole idea of adapting that same old one into something new that worked for us in today's age and date. And I think there are very few such stories out there, and I think it'll be great if, you can put some of these out there so that more and more people get confidence that there is something about this which can actually get done. I think confidence building in the idea itself, proof of concept kind of a situation, is something that's going to become very necessary for these kind of projects, and be great if you can do that story. Yeah? Storytelling is Naomi's forte? No? She says no. Why? So she does this incredible work of, calling up people, architects, please give us your best projects. And then listening to people saying, no, I don't know, I don't have time. I'm guilty of that. But she's still persisting, and I think it's a great initiative, and I must congratulate you for it. So please, round of applause for the initiative that she takes. Having said that, within this whole idea of your work, but also, I've seen that Rohtak Dome and in Baroda and all that. But more importantly, I think the point of being able to bring architects together is the little more difficult part that you do. Within that, have you ever adventured into this whole idea of sustainability?
Not quite. But I think
you want to do it again next time?
Maybe, but I think it's a very like abused word. So I think probably we always stay away from it because there are 10 million things that you can talk about and not talk about. Right. So then, yeah.
To pick one thing, use your own work and use it as a reference.
I mean, personally for our work, most of the work that we are doing are in faraway lands and very complex site situations. And most of the work are like weekend homes which are abused also in terms of their scale and things, where primarily when you see materials and when you see aspirations of people building, but at the same time we are dealing with real life issues of land, mafia, energy, water that's coming in, like large portions of land that we'll build for, but we'll not be able to retain in terms of how it's growing. So I think those we see pretty pictures of what's coming up, but at the end, how we are sustaining the land throughout with building, because as an architect, we are not really taught academically that, okay, how do you build with the land that you're in? How do you sustain that land throughout the project and beyond? So I think that has been a big learning for us, and yeah, that's
super. You mentioned scale of projects, and I'll come to another jump in scale with Palak and Palak's office, which kind of tries to undertake more of a product and a furniture scale than, yeah. And I'm very fascinating how you address this question of sustainability. I don't understand it, so please.
Yes, so actually the way we started was doing first, of course, interiors, and that scale at where we were like designing houses which were like very low maintenance, clean, crisp looking details. And when we actually started to produce some of the objects and furnitures for those particular clients, we really got fascinated by what we could bring in Ahmedabad, sitting and really, talking about the precision. Like that craftsmanship and precision was not being even aspired that we could make it to that detail. So when we actually ventured into a completely different segment from interiors to furniture, we established the brand Ray-Ban, and we talked about precisions. We talked further from there. I think that was the very initial approach, and people started to love because of the precision we brought. But later on now, right now, when we're into a whole complete reform of the brand, we are really looking into like R&D is non-negotiable. Yeah. Training of the people who works for you is also very important. Yeah. Like it's very, the literacy behind sustainability to them, the way they are making. So I think those areas, research and training, through that, how do you build a brand again? And how do you then think of this scale of furniture? Because we are kind of touching that scale. That scale is very small, and that's why our connection with that scale is all on the levels of well-being as well. So I think that area is very personal, and I think I want to talk about sustainability through that personal bond, and the well-being of a person is actually also a lot more on the area of nervous system and how we operate in the spaces. So interiors and furniture that way is very intimate, and I think that's why sustainability could be talked through that.
Lovely. You talked about the nervous system and well-being. There's a young person in the audience who's looking into neuroarchitecture. So maybe you want to get into a conversation with her. Komal? She's here? Yeah, there she is. Vipuja. So Vipuja and I go back many years. I don't want to count them. It's not fair to me, not fair to her. Yeah? Vipuja has seen me with my 2-month-old daughter, right? And I have she's one of my best stories, because it's incredible the manner in which she has retained a certain value system. She does incredible sketches. Please pardon me if I kind of overdo her achievements a little bit. But I think she maintains a very strong sense of calm. And in that sense of calm that you have, And you've moved from architecture to furniture and now into landscape, and now it's really like planting more than anything else. And you seem to be very passionate. I don't know that part about you. So you want to share that? And she's here. So I asked her, the first question is, why do you say principal? Because there's a co-founder sitting there. KK, hi, right? So
what's the question?
Figure it out. I want to know your landscape journey.
Okay, so regarding the landscape journey is that me and myself and my partner, none of them are exposed to landscape. It just came as a project. And much of the work that we do at UL Lab comes from private developers. And landscape was a project that just came from one of the client for whom we are working on, and it just started off, and we thought that let's just take that opportunity and build up. But we realized that landscape and working with private developers, I think it's a task to carve out green spaces, to retain depths, talking about basements, parking. So, it's a big challenge, working with the developers in order to convince them. They want green, but they don't want to do anything about it. Whether you say they are basement heights or they are sunks. So I think I realized it when we went through that journey, and I think it talks about lots of meticulous details, because it is not only about creating greens, it's also sustaining them in a weather, and it's about every centimeter, whether it is 300 clear or 450 clear depth that you try to carve out for each and every plant that you are going to plant on the basement, which is actually not ground. But I think it's been an interesting journey, and lots of projects post-occupancy have helped us, to revive it better. That's all. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's plan a date. I would like to see some of that. We've heard these stories, and within these stories, we've heard this whole dilemma of wanting to do good, and believing in the fact and knowing that what you're trying to do is really the right thing. Of course, there are struggles. I think one of the difficulties that I have felt while looking at this question of sustainability and profitability is really whose perspective, and also time. So when we look at profitability, there's inevitably, and like what Vipuja just mentioned, if it is a developer or a real estate project, the person who's going to inhabit versus the person who's going to actually sponsor it. Similarly, when we do public institutions, we have a similar situation of who's going to inhabit and who's going to sponsor it. And when there is a difference between the two, sustainability is not seen as of value, because the person who's sponsoring it will not necessarily take or get the benefit of that cost that they are incurring. And I think that is where the dilemma of this profitability and sustainability lies, where if they are cohesive in one person, for example, the house, if it is the owner, they would invest in, because they are looking at it as their own. Whereas if it is somebody else sponsoring it, then the question is that what is it that we get out of it? Is there a thought, and this is a common question to anyone who wants to pick it up, that do you think that there is this which is an issue in terms of understanding profitability or sustainability? No? Come on, Chaitanya. The question is that people, when they are going to occupy a building or something themselves, they are more open to suggestions of sustainability or any sort of assumed cost for that. Whereas when it's going to be somebody else who's going to build for somebody else, then the association with sustainability is less.
Yes, I think like in our profession, it starts from advocating clients, basically. I mean, what we struggle for is to advocate clients that, that we need to do this. This is an added advantage to the building that we are building, right? The main struggle is to advocate them that if we do consider the measures of sustainability, that we have to maybe do the rainwater harvesting, or we do the solar systems, or we do like any measures of sustainability that can help which may add a little more cost. But sustainability can be seen in terms of time. Like if you consider that time span, it's always profitable because the measures are taken from the traditional systems. Like there were takis in old pole areas, and there were like all the concepts which have been forgotten, and then we are readdressing those concepts again into this new era. So I think it's more, when you compare sustainability to the profitability, there's a parameter of time that you have to consider always.
It's an open question, and after we are done with this, we'll close, because I think Indrajit or somebody will have to tell me to stop. So please go ahead, Arohi, and then Vipuja.
So one is, it's a very collective effort, so it's unfortunate that there comes a distinction that if I'm going to save tomorrow, I'll invest now. But it's a collective effort, and I think it's high time all of us participate in that. That's one. The second thing is, when, like, my favorite double-edged sword comes into action, is the green credits and the systems which actually give value to your investments today. So with those credits, you're actually able to make, you fund something correctly, and then you reap profits upon selling, which someone else shall harvest. And like, the problem with that is, a lot of things I could be like, this could be my half knowledge speaking, but a lot of projects are justified as green. So that's like when the double-edged sword comes into action, a lot of things are presented as net zero when it's not actually net zero or something. So it imparts a certain desire to first make it better, but then a lot of things which are not done nicely can also get away with it. So
I hear you.
That's my...
I hear you, totally.
Yeah.
But let me add a little good story to this.
Please do that.
I don't know if all of you know this, but the Indore Municipal Corporation, which is probably one of the first government body in Asia, has actually collected 50 lakh rupees through a carbon trading at an international carbon trading body. And I think they sold 1.7 ton carbon credits or something like that. So through the waste management. So I think there are some incredible stories, and I agree totally with you that we have to be sharp enough ourselves to sift through what is not an authentic story and reach somewhere where we see that there is an effort. And what they've started doing is calling upon other corporations or municipal bodies who may not have as much carbon credit to pool together and then submit this thing. So, crowdfunding kind of a thing. So I think that there are some measures somewhere that people are taking, and our job as practitioners in looking into the future, we'll have to sift through a lot of stuff that we are shown and have the ability to discern that which is the story that is making sense to us. Yeah? Anybody else? Some more thoughts on this whole idea, what she's raised, this whole question of carbon trading, crediting, etc. No? I guess we've said as much as we wanted to say over here today, and we'll leave it to the next panelists to add more to our knowledge. And thank you, all of you all, for patient hearing, and the people who are over here, the sponsors, and ITP for having all of us over here. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I request you all to please stay back. First, let's please have a round of applause for this brilliant panel. I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Krishan Kumar, and along with him Mr. Anup Nair, to please come and felicitate our next gen panelists. I request our panelists to please come forward as I call out your names. We start with our moderator first, Dr. Meghal Arya, founding partner, Arya Architect. Can you all come in the center for a picture? Thank you so much. Next, Arohi Bakiri, architect and landscape designer, Arohi Bakiri, architecture and landscape design. Next, we have Chaitanya Patel, principal architect from In Practice. Can we have a louder round of applause, please? Okay. Next, we have Naomi Parekh, founder and architect from Doro. Okay. Next is Palak Patel, co-founder and creative director from Ray-Ban Studio. And last but not the least, Vipuja Parmar, principal designer, UA Lab, Urban Architectural Collaborative. Thank you so much. I request you all to please stay back for a group picture. We have a little giveaway from one of our partnering brands, Booni Dam. I request you all to please give us 1 more minute. Thank you so much, Booni Dam, for this sweet gesture. And let us have a last round of applause for our brilliant panelist before we begin with the next one. And after a thrilling next-gen panel session, we now move on to yet another exciting session, the Doyen's panel discussion, the stalwarts of the architecture industry, like we said. And I'd like to welcome and introduce everyone, all the panelists, to all of you all. Starting with our first speaker, he gathers inspiration and peculiarities from place or people and given a bold and specific expressions. His projects have featured in national and international media and have won various awards. He is primarily involved in residential, corporate, real estate and institutional projects and believes in ensuring finesse in the making of their projects. Please welcome our first speaker, Architect Arpan Shah, Principal Architect, Modo Design. Okay. Our next speaker is an architect and an urban designer based in Ahmedabad. He holds an undergraduate degree in architecture from CEPT University and a Master of Urban Design from University of California, Berkeley. Please welcome Architect Brijesh Bhata, Principal, Groundwork Architecture. The next speaker on the panel began his professional career in Chicago working on multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects between 1992 and 1996 and has established a formidable reputation in the real estate arena in Gujarat. Extremely passionate about sustainability and technology, his firm today is the leader in green building development in Gujarat. Please welcome yet another speaker for the panel, Mr. Sameer Sinha, founder and MD from Savvy Group. Next in line is an architect who is one of India's most celebrated architects. He has worked with inspiring artists from around the world where his art and design projects seamlessly intervene. He believes that architecture is not only about buildings, it is about shaping people's life, and thus his journey of seeking the truth through his heart is eternal. Our next speaker is Architect Rain Patel, Principal Architect, Rain Patel Architects. Next in line is an engineer and urban planner with over 35 years of academic and professional experience in structural engineering and urban planning. He started his career with a structural engineering firm where he reached the position of senior structural designer and was responsible for the structural design of various hotels, factories, commercial, institutional, and industrial buildings. Please welcome our next speaker, Dr. Vatsal Patel, partner from Setu Infrastructure. On behalf of Architects and Interiors India and ITP Media India, I welcome you all to the Doyens panel. Can we please have you all on stage? And with great pleasure, I'd like to introduce to you all the moderator of this session. He was recently a TEDx speaker and also on board for the Oscars panel as an art director for selection of Indian film representation at the Academy Awards 2020. He is presently on the National Executive Committee of IID and has a past chairperson IID Ahmedabad Regional Chapter. He was on the advisory board of BEQ and BN, an illustrious concept led by personal brand equity and networking for business. He is a visiting faculty and jury at CEPT, UID, GLSID, Anant University, NIFT, IED, and Oro University, with more than 25 undergraduate theses completed under his guidance. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes immense pleasure to introduce to you all our moderator for the Doyens panel, Architect Neeraj Shah, co-founder and design director, I Do Design. May we have a round of applause, please?
How's the spirit? All good? There's darkness outside. And the rest of the country had darkness for at least about 1 hour, half an hour in different regions. So, and here we are trying to have light and some enlightenment. Are we all together? Our guest of honor today finished 60% of the topic. The rest 30% the previous panel finished. We have only 10% to talk about, right? But what we'll do is, we'll quickly look at this, right? I think you can also see this. Sustainability and profitability. You know what is common between both of these? No, both are green. Oh, you can't read that, it's at the bottom. Both are green, and that's why it is so balanced. So it's already balanced, so I don't think we have anything to talk about. Okay. But being in Ahmedabad, I think we know this, right? Sustainability in Ahmedabad feels like discussing rainwater harvesting with someone who's been storing water in mattas in childhood. All the talks that all the things that we've been discussing comes back to one fact, and what we were just talking about, Dr. Vatsal. We have been doing this for many years. I think we know sustainability in a certain different manner than the rest of the world, right? We've got to now figure out in terms of what the right balance for us should be at this point. I think everybody feels that the air conditioning is too cold. Yeah? Can somebody do something about it, please? Thank you. I sometimes wonder if buildings are more sustainable these days, or if we are just better at collecting badges and acronyms than actual rainwater, right? There are so many acronyms, and I think the previous panel also spoke about so many. Like, for example, the only thing growing faster than our cities is the number of sustainability certifications. Platinum, LEEF, Gold, Green, Pearl, Zero, Carbon, Excellent. I think there must be some more gemstones that need to be added, right? And our little flex, little show off. Our latest design is ultra sustainable, carbon neutral, net zero, climate positive, off grid, and possibly off topic. But what we will try and do is reach here, because we have so much of experience here with us. We will try and reach here. That we try and respect the earth and we try and respect the resources is what was the biggest point that was touched previously in terms of use as much as we need. And that is going to be our final real sustainable goal. That will be our modern thing to do and to create this balance. So these slides can keep playing on their own. I don't need them really, but they're just there so they create some interest if you get bored of what we are talking about. Now let's get very serious, okay, because we have Doyens here. We had one Dawn, who was sitting here just right before me. Dawn, where's the Dawn? She's gone. Okay, so my first question actually is very simple for all four of you now, not five. And this is only one word, single word, and I'll go in this order. What does sustainable mean to you? One word only, think about it.
Hello.
Yeah.
So one word for you or one word for us?
One word for you. For you. What does sustainable mean to you?
Simple.
Simple. Okay, nice. Arpan?
Harmony.
Harmony. Nice. Sir?
Profitable.
Lovely. Profitable. Super. Doctor?
Unavoidable truth.
Inevitable truth.
Inevitable truth.
Fantastic. I think with these 4 key words, I think we can conclude the entire debate, right? I mean, there's no debate. We've almost covered all of it, and I think it's brilliant because you've got some bit of the aesthetics. We've actually got somebody here who can throw a lot of light in terms of why it is profitable as well as why it is the inevitable truth. This question was for Hiren Bhai. Next time when I meet him, I'll ask him. Because you already said this and because you have this experience, just give us a quick lesson on the initial costs of sustainability. Because we know that the capex is always high.
I think it's a wrong question, Neeraj. Let me interrupt. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for doing this. Thank you for inviting me to this forum. I only wish the topic was different because there is no sustainability versus profitability.
Correct.
The only option is profitable sustainability. So the versus needs to be out. This is a very, very old debate. I've been talking about this for the last 15 years and there is no competition between sustainability and profitability. And I can go on and on about it. I have a presentation on this. Secondly, I wish there was more light in the panel before because the bright, beautiful people were there. Now you have the old people here and you have all the light here. My main attraction for coming to this event was to listen to them. And I wish they had more to say and more time because they are the future of the country. And it is really heartwarming to see that the young people are talking about sustainability.
Yes.
And if they are doing it, then we have done something wrong. That we are still debating versus profitability.
Very frankly, and I'm sorry, but very frankly, they're doing more, and we are going to be talking a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah, they're actually
That's all we
doing
have
more.
ever done. For the last 35, 40 years, we have talked. And I hope that changes. Okay, very quickly, why are we still looking at the cost of sustainability? And there was a point that I think Arohi made, or yeah, it was Arohi who said, is there essentially the essence was, is there greenwashing? Does greenwashing exist? And I believe it does. My question is, what is the option? Should we not even do that? You talked about certification. Is certification greenwashing? Yes, it is. What is the option? Not do it? Right? The cost of cutting trees is 75,000 rupees. What should we do? Not cut trees? The GDP of the country exists in the cities. Without GDP of the country, we will not sustain. All the architects ever met love to bash developers, but they all want to work with developers. Kya option hai? Kuch to karna padega na, boss. So let's do 3 things. 25 years I've been talking about it. Dharkar Sahab has been in every conference I've been to. What is the big mantra we have discovered in the 25 years? Nothing. There is no one solution. There are all these little small piecemeal steps that we all have to take towards the journey of sustainability to be sustainable and to be profitable. Profitability, I'll come to the cost. There is no cost to green. Zero. And I can prove it to you with my own experience. There used to be a certain high cost to green, maybe about 4-5%, 10 years ago. I've just finished a building in Gift City. The cost of green is 0.64 paise per square feet.
Wow.
Where is the debate? 64 paise, it used to be almost 15 rupees a square feet 8 years ago. 64 paise a square feet, grade A to grade A comparison. I do this every year and I can vouch for it. So it is a comparison of what are you comparing, apples and oranges, then the competition nahi hai. But if you're comparing a good building to a good building, today there is no cost to green. Also, if you follow the bylaws, I believe the government of India is far more progressive than we think. If you follow the bylaws of the land, you will end up making a gold certified building. Just by following the bylaws.
Achha. Right.
Bylaws mein hai, you cannot avoid it. And of course, look at the cost of fly ash brick versus red brick today. Red brick is more expensive than fly ash brick, at least in the urban centers where you're making more buildings. So it is not. So again, that second point, I wrote quickly. We only look at the cost. It's a very myopic view of looking at cost. What is the cost? The cost of fabricating a building, designing it, architecture, MEP, all put together is probably of X value. But look at the value you create with the building. Look at the business that you create in that building. And where is the impact of that? When you look at that, why don't you look at this cost with such a small component by which you create that value where business exists for the next 50, 70, 100 years? And again, we'll get back to
Yeah,
this topic a
because-
little later.
yeah,
but
because I've got
I
that
believe-
as well in
Sure,
the next one.
Sure.
Yes. Oh, wow. So that's a discussion. Please. Yeah.
Hi. So thanks for that. I think just what I was wondering about is that the building that you talked about in Gift City or some other buildings that you might have worked on along with full sustainable practices, are they buildings owned by the developer themselves or typically
So I've
handed
done
over?
both. I've done both. For the last 20 years, we only built green.
Okay.
When we started building green, it was to cost a little high. There was no market for it. So we were creating a market. Today, there is a market for it. People are actually willing to pay you a higher price for a green building. The rentals are higher. The operating costs are lower. So I'll give you an example. Shapat 5 is a building which I have on SG Highway. The per square feet HVAC consumption is almost 30 to 40% lower. They're not building Shapat 4, which is right next door, which is not a green building. 40% lower is almost 7, 8 rupees a square feet I'm saving. Now on a rental of 60 rupees, if I'm saving 8 rupees a square feet, where is the
Profitable.
No,
dispute?
so I only asked this question because my perception sort of is somewhere where buildings that are sort of handed over, so let's say a typical residential building handed over to people, developers may not be necessarily completely keyed in to the level of sustainable practices as you probably suggest. And I think how does one bridge that gap is what I was wondering. And I understand what you guys are doing and it seems great.
So I think that's what we miss out on, and which is what we talk about, life cycles of a building. And this entire practice comes in at multiple stages. As designers, we always look at it as handing over and over with. But that's not what it is. And that's where, yes. And that's where I think there are enough things laid down. Right? Arpan, for you. Let's relook at the word profitability, right? Because we're looking at it in multiple ways now. So how do you look at profitability within your projects? And if you want to look at developer projects or even private projects?
So I think, firstly, I would say that, again, sustainability, coming back to that, I would like to talk about it. I think it has become a little trendy. But I think if you, I saw one of the things, you talked about the matkas, and I think it is something which is very natural, which has been happening in all the cultures. Lately it's become trendy because I think that there's a need for a market. I think it's also fashionable, but I think people see a lot of value in it, whether they're trying to market it, trying to see some advantage in it. But I think fundamentally, when coming back to this question of yours, talking about profits, I think if you are doing things which are fundamentally using local materials or trying to do a very passive architecture, I don't see any reason why it is costly. Which is something which is what vernacular cultures have done. Correct. I think with limited resources, with local materials, with things that are tried and tested, you do something that is in harmony with nature, irrespective of the constraints of the climate. You're working in a harsh climate, you're working in a cold climate. I think you're trying to withstand the forces and try to be in harmony with that local place. Profitability is where I feel that, when you're working with commercial projects, I think that the cost sometimes can increase when you're trying to, what you talked about, that you're trying to do something which is, you're trying to do energy saving, other than the passive ways, coming back to more active ways, that you're trying to use DGU glass, or you're trying to use certain materials which are probably green products and expensive, where the base cost can increase. And that's where the concerns can be, that your base cost can be more. Long term, yes, it has a certain benefit, but that's where I think most of the developers, I feel that, I'm happy to see more people in the real estate segment coming up and coming up with more greener methods, but a lot of people still would be evaluating, the viability of the projects, basically.
So, Arpan, in fact, I'm so glad that, the earlier panel actually touched upon this aspect. I was actually hoping that you would turn this word profitability into something else, and you kind of almost were there. Because I've seen the kind of work that you're doing, in terms of obviously local material and harmony, and that's what you used as your main single word. And profitability to mankind. Why are we looking at profitability for a while? Why are we looking at profitability only in terms of monetary profitability? Because we've got an expert here. We already know that today the capex, which we understand the capex is high, to take this step, which is now a myth because it's kind of already been busted, right? I mean, there are ways of doing it, and you can already kind of reach a certain level. And also where capex is seen as an investment for the future rather than only a cost that goes in within it. But let's look at this whole well-being and profitability idea for the future when we come back to you and Brajesh, right? Dr. Vatsal, for you, we have, again, this is something that was touched upon in the previous panel. What we call is energy retrofit, where they were talking about an old building which was being reused, right? Or we revitalize very, very old properties, which is, easier to do in a way, not easier, but it has a certain, value perception, right? I mean, if it's a fort and you convert it into a hotel, so obviously revitalization. But there have been a lot of retrofit. Have you come across anything like this in your experience, especially from, the engineering perspective? How difficult would that be to retrofit?
Lots of time.
Okay.
See, reusing the material, recycle the material, or we can say circular economy, the new word nowadays we are normally using for the things. It's not a new thing for engineers. Basically, we frequently use, even when I started my career 40 years back, at that time also we used the same type of reuse the material and the same again and again. But to be very frank, at that time it was not that much popular and it is not considered to be the best thing. Actually at that time it was considered to be a taboo.
Right.
Yaar purana material use kar raha hai. And now it is considered to be a prestigious thing or proud thing that, oh, he is using the recycled material and we are marketing it. So, see, I can say that in last these 40 years, when I was young, about 12, 13 years old, at that time, I shared with you, people were telling that don't use paper, use plastic, because if you use paper, then it will harm the forest and this and that, and lots of things. Lots of hammering as a young kid to me. And now when I am at the old age, on the verge of finishing my life and career, at that time now I am hearing that no, don't use plastic. Again use this paper bag and all these stuff. See, this is the totally this type of cycle. For suppose India, wood is considered to be very precious material and we should not use it. And the same wood in Canada, it's considered to be sustainable.
Yeah.
So everything is with respect to whether it is reused, recycled, or it is sustainable or profitable. It's depend upon the area, the climate, the availability of the material, the design, and lots of factors, not only limited factors. Here we are trying to prove that firecrackers in Diwali create the pollution. And since 2014, February, so almost 11 years, we have Ukraine-Russia war. And lots of emissions.
A lot of crackers.
Crackers.
Yes. Let's hope we don't have more crackers around our country.
In last 2 days, we have lots of crackers. Here, right? So, I don't know which way we are.
So very true, and I think we will kind of come to these ideas that we already have in India, certain things that we've done, but at a different scale. And we'll see if with all this experience we are able to actually take this forward and do this for our buildings, right? But before that, we were talking about energy retrofit, right? I mean, in the sense that you're using, and these are working buildings, these are not dead buildings that have actually been reused, Vancouver, New York, in fact, even Empire State Building was completely, and there, in fact, the cost was, quite alarming, $0.74 for just it was about 0.7% of the total cost of the building. the original cost, so which was nothing. Tell me, let's twist it, Brijesh. So based on what Dr. Vatsal was saying or what we are looking at as retrofit, do you think that we can already take certain precautions so that we don't need to do that for buildings which are slightly more complex systems? What would you tell us? What can we learn from the mistakes of the West?
I think what you're saying is that can we build buildings that don't need retrofitting? Is that what you're saying? Or that doesn't need...
Okay, let me put it like this. I always say this, so chuve kha ke billi haj pe chali, right? That's what we've seen a large part of West has done, correct?
Right.
They've done it, they've used a lot of resources, they've used electricity, they've used energy, everything. And they've realized it at a certain point, and now they've created certain norms, and we are following those norms. Good and bad. Certain things we know, certain things we don't. But we are right at the cusp, because we as a society is getting affluent now, right? We are spending. We want to consume, which we never did for all these last 70, 80 years, right? We've been in poverty. But now because we're consuming, then therefore, what is that right balance right now? So we don't need to do that.
So I think it's an interesting question. I'm not exactly sure what would be the right thing, but I believe there is one idea that I feel that today when we build, I think there is possibility of including any function within that building. That is really becoming very true. That the way you build, the way the designs are shaped, I think you can house, you can it can be housing, it can be a hotel, a hostel, or even an office. So in that particular sense, if you are able to design something in a manner that allows for future changes to take place, because I think changes are going to take place.
Yes.
It's inevitable that we will have a certain building used forever for its lifespan. Original church buildings are being converted to something else, or barns are, warehouses are converted. For example, in Amsterdam, warehouses are converted into these TV stations, and that's fantastic. These are reuse of the same spaces, but the flexibility within those spaces is what has allowed that to happen. So I think if we were to think about future designs or designs that allow for that long-term sustainable approach to at least the core superstructure, then how we have to, probably we must think about how will we keep on reinterpreting these offices or houses or whatever we use them. That will be a fantastic
Right,
way
that's
to,
very nice. So you mean flexible usage.
Yes.
So on the other hand, I'll just push that to you. So on the other hand, do you think, so which means your brief itself is being reinterpreted to make it even more neutral. And on the other hand, the other side of that spectrum is being completely clear and sticking and adhering to your brief. So do you think, is that also a sustainable way of, it's like fulfilling the need completely?
I mean, what he talked about was basically multiple use of a space. Something very, I think it was there in our culture. You talk about Manik Chowk. I think it's different in the day and it's different at night. So I think, which means that through minimal resources, you're trying to kind of make a space more efficient. On the other hand, when what you're talking about is purpose, that something which is designed for a purpose, right? Let's say, for example, whether you're building, we're talking about buildings, so you're building an auditorium or a crematorium. Now the uses are very different, the needs are very different, so it has to be specific. I think all kind of building types cannot have, I believe, a multiple purpose, and therefore specific use does apply. And wherever possible, I feel that something which is there in our culture can be probably applicable, because something that, if you look at the Western world, I think they've been more specific that, this has to be for this, this has to be for this. Obviously, it leads into overconsumption of materials.
Right.
Sometimes relevant, which also leads to a more organized urban infrastructure or building infrastructure, which, if you talk about our culture, I mean, because of, you can say, lack of resources or whatever, I think, take many of, middle class households, I mean, their spaces would change. you know. And that was something which is very fascinating. I think something which is a lesson that how can you really take that as a clue. And at the same time balance it out. I think, as I said, I think you have to eventually balance it out. You know, sometimes specific, some things multiple.
Correct. And
I want to give you context in what I was saying, just to add to that. See, the thing is that today we are urbanizing very fast, right? And cities are going to have more and more housing. They are. I mean, it's full of housing. So essentially, if you think about maybe 80 or 85% of the buildings in a city are housing. It's a singular use in some sense. There is offices, maybe another 10, 15%, and then rest everything else.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to worry about the rest everything else. I'm talking about the chunk.
True,
and
true.
there, if we are
that
able
is true,
to, that's
true.
all I'm saying. So that's the bulk that we probably can attempt.
True, true. And yeah, I'm glad that you're still talking about the urban context, because in vertical stacking, it becomes even more complex and difficult. But at the same time, I think now that's where you were just talking about government policies. Can you shed some light on incentivized policies that help us educate our clients better?
Yeah, I honestly feel, and maybe I am an eternal optimist and a very patriotic person, but I feel India is far more progressive than most countries, and we must, because we are honestly the largest developer in the world. Maybe even ahead of China in terms of the number of buildings we are making. We are one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So we will continue to build. And if we do not lead by example, who else will? So whatever US might have done, whatever other countries might have done, the onus is on us now to lead lead responsibly. And hence I believe we are really doing the right thing. Our policies are in place. I honestly feel the policies are a step ahead of us, from the consumers as well as the developers. And the policies are leading us in the right direction. There is also the natural advantage that India has in our ethos. The point that both these architects were making, look at our cities. Where did you live? You've been in Ahmedabad forever. I have lived in Ahmedabad also more or less all my life. I have moved my home just like the city has every 10 years. 2000, I think in the 60s, before you guys were born, it used to be Relief Road. Then it became Ashram Road. Then it became CG Road. Then when I started my business, it was SG Highway. We are already on Ring Road now. But have we abandoned Relief Road? No, we have not. We've repurposed it. Right? Are there people living on CG Road? Yes, there are. It's a different demographics.
Right. Yeah.
So we are very sustainable in our lifestyle. And I don't think we have to worry about aping the West or making different. We are able to do that naturally. The one point that I do want to make, and I know we don't have enough time for endless debate, but we did a very interesting exercise going back to the whole idea of profitability versus sustainability and why I feel it should not be versus. We did a very interesting exercise. This was interestingly funded by the Denmark Confederation of Industries in collaboration with Ahmedabad with CEPT University, with IIM Ahmedabad, and with Indian Green Building Council, which we looked at the impact of green index, which is defined as multiple different factors which affect the indoor environment or office. It has only been done on offices yet. We will take it to the next level of research. The green environment of an office space and its impact on the employees of that office. And what we discovered in a 1.5 year research was that 1% increase in the green index of an office leads to a 7% increase in the thriving of the employees.
Okay.
And a 1% increase in thriving leads to an 8% increase in the engagement of the employees.
Fantastic.
The next stage that we are doing is taking that engagement into productivity and hence the bottom line of the company. If I can prove that a 1% increase in the green index of an office space leads to a whatever percentage increase in the bottom line, in the profitability, in the turnover, efficiency of a company, the case is done.
Super.
I don't need to sell anything else, at least to that sector. This can also be taken to the housing sector. This can also be taken. Percentage might vary. How to convince that the household will be different.
Yeah.
But the case is there. So this is where, beyond just the cost, we have to look at what are we providing to other employees. I am telling you, for example, like I just mentioned before, if you have a building where you're using 40% less energy, would you go to any other building next time? You will make that comparison, no? Why should I spend 8 rupees more on air conditioning if I can do the same thing in a building which is letting me do that? So I think that debate is going to be, it will end very soon. We won't need these kind of seminars anymore.
No, I'm very glad that you said that, because I think these long-term offsets, in terms of both incentives or in terms of, we're still trying to prove and put a cost or put money as a figure to the profitability. We are still not looking at all these other aspects of better efficiency or better retention, which is a larger problem, and therefore wellness and lifestyle.
A more intangible aspect.
Yes, the intangible. And I think that's why, touching all the tangible and the intangible that they already did, I think we will, we might just need to conclude with a little more, facts and figures, and especially with the kind of experience that you bring onto the table. Dr. Vatsal, I mean, coming in from, the other technical side of it, one quick one for you in terms of, have you kind of encountered any, typical cost overruns because of architects, crazy ideas, which obviously, I mean, because you've got to solve those problems, and where, it just demands higher structural cost, which of course is not a sustainable idea.
So after this debate, you want to shut down my office?
Okay, so that means it's a fact, right?
I don't know.
I don't know, it says.
Anyway, sometimes, sometimes I feel that some aesthetics is important though it may be just slightly costly. Because see, everybody or every client has certain type of ambition in their own ownership.
Yeah.
So up to some extent it is fine. Beyond that, it is considered to be alarming.
Oh, wow. Please, sir, I have 2 questions for you.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in by here.
Come. Pura Ahmedabad is completely blackout. Wow. Self blackout.
Yeah.
तो बद्दू बंच है, बच्चे siren आ गए तो पशु we have to stop, cars has to be stopped.
Correct.
So I thought I blackouts.
No, but it's so good that you could actually make it.
Episode coming over. Sorry for that.
He was doing some nice watercolors in darkness, so we would love to see that. You'll get onto it. I will have one nice question for you. But sir, please, sorry, continue.
So basically, so many times we face the issue, but at the same time, as a structural engineer, we try to find out what is the actual better balance between that design and making the cost within the limit.
So you mean you're okay with the whole idea of experimentation, right?
Of course.
And there is a cost to it. There is an aspirational value to it, right? And it may not be very resource friendly, but that's all right.
But it's compulsory sometimes.
Excellent. Okay.
Great.
Valid.
I want to continue. I think you just, the question that you raised, I think, and we talked about it, I talked about the lean construction, right?
Yes.
That as architects, yes, there is the aesthetic aspect with us, but it's also an expression, just as I talked about that, okay, I think if you look at the culture, evolving culture, if you look at structures which are 500,000 years back, I mean, we've measured on some of them, the walls were 1 meter thick, then it got into 14 inches, and with new technology, like for example, with these structural engineers, we work with PT, we try to work with steel. So I think it's about minimal structure and maximum space, and that's the evolution, that's the future. Call it sustainable because through minimum material, we try and to maximize the expanse.
Correct.
And that's how the structures have evolved,
Yeah.
So, and for us, it's the aesthetics, that how can we get that expression, the minimal expression with steel or with post-tensioning. Sometimes, yes, it can be counterproductive because in the process, probably you're using more steel.
Correct.
Yes, the mass is less. The material, overall, maybe
Yes,
the concrete
course.
reduces,
Of
but
course.
maybe it does get expensive. But it's the minimal expression that we're trying to explore.
Correct. And
that's
the better part is that a lot of these aesthetics are governed by the aesthetics initially. Could be by the whole idea of expression, But at the same time, it is supported by this whole idea that is getting leaner, right? And I think that's where we need to keep kind of working, both ways. We could also be going towards the leaner, and therefore knowing that, okay, this can be this kind of an expression, right? And that's where I think design intervention really comes in, because it's not going to be, only one way and one direction. So anyway, I'll have a quick one.
Sorry, I just want to add one more point. He's being too humble. The kind of value today that people like Vatsal will add to this is what is truly sustainable technology. What we are able to do with AI and technology and biomimicry and digitization is way beyond what we were able to do even 10 years ago. And that is what is making the buildings truly well engineered, far more sustainable, less impact on resources, less mistakes on the site, far more efficient design, right? We are able to do all of that digitally and then spend less money retrofitting at the site. And optimum use of materials, better design engineering. So all of that is now possible, which is a huge part of your capex.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So when we are talking about profitability, none of it is possible. And even the most fantastic designs can only be validated by technology.
Yes, absolutely. So we started the whole thing by just asking, what according to you, in one word, is sustainable? Then I'll take the question again to you. What according to you is sustainable in one word?
It's a very vast subject, and it is very personalized.
Okay,
yeah.
Vast and personalized. Okay, vast and personalized, that means I'll have to ask you a lot of questions. Okay, I have one very nice one for you, especially. So, a lot of your work, a lot of your architecture has already, you're building in so much of green, right? So, is that whole green idea coming in, where is it coming in from? From your own idea of landscape, from the client's need for just green spaces, or the beauty of, the aesthetics of the green and the water bodies? So, where does this come in? Or is sustainable, is an idea or not?
Not really. I mean, it's a process, and the entire life is constant learning, right? So, fortunate enough to graduate from the SEPT, we all are from SEPT alumni now. And if you study in a good institute, it's roping you with the good ideas and kind of thing. But all the time you discover the things. So, in our time, there was nothing like interior designing. So, we started doing interior designing by ourselves, because there was not kind of any institute which will teach you. And over the time, while working, I realized that there was an inclination towards the gardening. So I would say that I'm still learning. And sometimes if you don't have a formal graduation, maybe it's become like eklavya. You constantly keep working, and फिर मैं अभी landscaping करूँगा, तो I will think वो आरोही सही बोले कि नहीं, because आरोही has maybe done landscaping designing, or maybe Aniket Bhagat will say what Hiren is doing right or wrong. So that's how it's constantly improvement of your approach towards the design. So I realize you cannot segregate green versus living spaces of the office space. So yes, there are three areas, and I could, while working, I could say that you have certain ideas, but with your colleague or other practice, it doesn't gel exactly. So why don't you start by doing yourself? So that's how it is there. There is nothing related in terms of thought process for creating green is for sustainability. But yes, sustainability is very vast subjects, and it is very personalized. So maybe we think this 6 plus 6, 12 lights are needed. If we just try with the 4, and if it works, then it 2 must be switched off. So that's the approach towards sustainability.
Super.
So what happened, we always discuss in daytime, this is at the moment it's dark, but we sit in a very such kind of a beautiful banquet hall with the full lights on, where outside is a full light is there, and we don't even open the curtains. So the sustainability has to come from within, and we were actually fortunate enough that this word was always built in us. हमारे घर में पंखा डाइनिंग में चालू होगा और मैं ड्राइंग रूम में बैठा तो पापा उठ के बोलेंगे भैया जाके बंद करो, बेडरूम में लाइट चालू नहीं होगा. तो वी हैव दैट, वी डोंट हैव दैट अमेरिकन कंसेप्ट दैट एवरीवेयर. नाउ वी से ओके आई विल हैव वेरी लो लाइट बिकॉज आई वांट द एम्बियंस. बट हम तो यूज्ड टू से कि यार नहीं करना है, जहाँ बैठा हुए पे लाइट कर लो, बात खत्म. I was reading and I started coming back to that because now my inter team and everybody with engrossed with so much of flourishment in the economy. I mean, there are 50 light points maybe in bathroom, and you are actually wondering whether, I mean, what is it, no? And then I just came across one project which is a professor in Japan. He's an architect and he has his own house in Japan. He's been living since maybe 30 years. Less than 10 electric point in his lights in his own 2-bedroom apartment. And now we are working for one house which is 3-bedroom, and we say, हम 20 से कम points में करना है, and we are working on that. So
Nice.
now getting people convinced about 20 light points in entire house, अभी digest ही नहीं हो रहा है, तो we are also trying to convince ourselves. I'm just trying to convince my team कि भैया जो बाथरूम में डालते हैं वो घर में डाल के करना है. तो ऐसे I give you extra freedom कि वो plug point होगा, आप floor lamp वगैरह जला देना, but we want to do less than 20 points. So that's the way approach. It's very vast subjects, and yeah, it's endless
So
learning.
I'm very glad that you could join us. Yeah, please.
He's exactly rightly telling that this sustainability is actually in blood of our Indian culture. Originally we know that bathroom and WC side by side, and there is only one light in between, and there is a small window gap. So one light serving both the things.
Yeah.
And now exactly he's telling that in some toilets you maybe find the 20-30 lights, small and LED, these, that, all this. But cycle is going on.
So I think, how much time do we have?
0.
We're done, right? We're done, no? Okay. So what we do is we'll kind of conclude this. So I'm glad that you could make it even at this time. And I think we got a lot of points. We'll do one quick one in terms of one word. And I think we're coming back to this whole idea of the fact that we are used to it. It's been in our blood. We are in this city, which is urbanized, quite recently in that sense as compared to some of the other metros. And we as Indians, we know jugaad, we know recycling, upcycling. एक ही ताके में से 5 बच्चों के, right? Shirts बनते थे और फिर बड़ा बेटा छोटे के लिए दे देता था, तो वो भी यूज़ करते थे, और फिर पोछा भी होता था, और फिर छिंदी होती थी, और छिंदी से आपकी रज़ाई बनती थी, और रज़ाई भी ओढ़ के हम यूज़ करते थे. And there was nothing wrong with it, and today there is a larger value to it, right? Now it is considered as being upcycled, but we know it. So, one word, what can we learn from our past in terms of for sustainability?
Back to roots.
Back to roots, okay. What is back to roots? Okay, patience, that's nice. Patience, okay.
Living with nature.
Living with nature. Be grounded, okay. That's interesting, I'll conclude that with that. So, what? Responsibility, okay. And that's how we were, that's how we have been, always responsible. Okay, so we better get back to being responsible. So great, I'll just quickly conclude. We got some amazing points. We got a lot of points in terms of the whole idea of first taking small steps, then that we have enough in the bylaws itself, and the impact is much larger. Today we have enough rules. If we even just follow the bylaws, I think we'll be able to do something which is more sustainable than not following it. And how much ever that is a good enough small step. Local and in harmony is what Arpan was saying. Reusing material and more climate based is what he was saying earlier to start with. Then the whole idea that multi-use and flexibility is a possible idea as far as energy retrofit is concerned, to save that. Other what Samir was saying is we should lead by example. The onus is on us to be able to start doing it. And I think this whole idea of this green index, 1% green index, leading to almost about first 7% increase in thriving, and then 8% in terms of engagement, and that could lead to better productivity. and therefore better bottom lines for the company. Then we're looking at this whole idea of it being a little higher on capital expense. But the idea for the future is that your large amount of efficiency is for future efficiency, which means that it is an investment but not a cost. And we have also re-looked at both these words. One is that your profitability is obviously measured in terms of monetary value, but we should be looking at profitability in terms of making it sustainable and green, to be making it a better space and better place for ourselves in terms of better well-being. And the other is, which we did not touch, was why can't we look at sustainability itself as another kind of a term, where what is sustainable? Are we trying to make the earth sustainable? Are we trying to make ourselves sustainable? Are we trying to make the buildings more sustainable? And I'll end with one of the examples, like when Fundamax was presenting, and there are a lot of materials like this which have had their green pros and green certification. And when Fundamax was explaining this whole idea of, it spoke about FSA paper and your craft paper and your design paper, right? But it did not talk about the melamine and the formaldehyde that goes into it, right? But nothing wrong with it. Why? Because the material is such that the lastability of this material is extremely high, extremely high. So are we replacing sometimes some materials which last much longer, whether they are going to be green for tomorrow or for today, or in terms of how they get recomposed or decomposed, within nature? It may work better because they have a longer life. So we've got to look at this and create this balance by first, one is learning from our past about frugality. And being frugal isn't being cheap, being frugal isn't wrong, isn't bad. So if you're able to learn responsibility, if you're able to learn, sorry.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, please, to conclude.
No, I think what we also need to learn is humility. Is humility. Because we are not taking care of this for the earth. We're taking care of it for ourselves. Earth will take care of itself. It's been around for billions of years. It will be there.
Exactly.
Every time you try and do something, it'll come back with a COVID, with a tsunami, with all of that, and it'll be us. We need to take care of ourselves. Our lifestyles need to change for us, not for Mother Earth.
True. I think we've given ourselves too much of importance by saying that we are going to save Mother Earth. Yeah. So I think we are only trying to save ourselves by going back to the roots, by having a little more patience, living with nature, being grounded, and being more responsible. Thank you so much. Thank you, IDP. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Shanaz.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, everybody, and Hiren, sir, especially for joining us.
Sorry, I just missed out.
No, but we are glad you were a part of it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a patient audience. And now I'd like to call upon stage Mr. Ashish Kumar, and along with him Mr. Indrajit Saoji, to please come and felicitate our doyens panelists. Architect Neeraj Shah, co-founder and design director, IDO Design. Sir, can you please come forward?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Next we have Architect Arpan Shah, Principal Architect, Modo Design. Can we have a round of applause, please? Next is Architect Brijesh Bhata, Principal, Groundwork Architecture. Next is Architect Hiren Patel, Principal Architect, Hiren Patel Architects, HPA.
He has so many of these, I don't think he came only for this.
Next is Mr. Sameer Sinha, Founder and Managing Director, Savvy Group. Sorry. And last but not the least, Dr. Vatsal Patel, Partner, Setu Infrastructure.
Actually, this is my
And I'm hoping that he becomes my client.
Thank you, everyone.
Then you become the client. Yes.
Can we please have a group picture?
Yes, sir. Sir. Thank you. Super. He's done good.